Here we go. 7:17 back here live. How's everybody doing today on a Wednesday edition of DFW Business Today? I'm Brian Glenn. I'm joined by Eli Weingarden.
Morning,
nice.
Brian.
Good morning. You're Chief Executive Officer of Municipal Cards, LLC. And when I found out about your company, I'd probably say about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I was like, I got to get this guy on the show. Brilliant idea. Let's talk about what Municipal Cards is all about. Sure.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
Municipal Cards, we are a vendor that is providing an administrator of a program for local governments to offer their homeowners. And in a nutshell, essentially, it is a credit and debit card, which instead of earning a person miles or points, essentially they're earning a percentage of their purchase back that goes directly back to the property taxes.
I'm laughing right now because it seems so what a no-brainer to me, honestly. And I kind of know the backstory how you started with this, but if we can get into that, how you thought of this idea.
Yeah, sure. What inspired it was I had an uncle that was running for city treasurer, and his last name being Lowenberg, he had the perfect campaign slogan, Lowenberg for lower taxes. And in the city that I grew up in, city of Southfield in Michigan, in front of every home practically, there was a lawn sign that said Lowenberg for lower taxes. Well, not surprisingly, he won that election. So after he was in office, I was having dinner with him one night, and I said to him, Uncle, you made this campaign promise of lowering taxes. How are you going to do it? And he's like, well, actually, now that I'm in office.
Let me think about it.
Yeah, it's not going to be as simple as I thought. I want to. That's kind of my goal. But as I'm now in the job, I see city's expenses are going up, and people are paying late or not paying at all. I don't know how I could possibly lower taxes. If anything, we may have to raise taxes. And I realized he's got a problem. Thought, well, maybe there's a solution here that is not typical that I can offer him. And that kind of inspired this whole idea.
Because you see this all the time, obviously in credit cards and debit cards, and credit unions are big on this as well. Every purchase you make, you get something back. You get points. You get a round up change in the Bank of America type of thing. So the concept is not all that new, but I think what it goes towards is brilliant and refreshingly new.
Yeah, the application of that particular industry in this method, in this path, makes now a real productive program on that, and in the industry, in the financial service industry, specifically around these reward programs. People are earning points and miles that they never ever use. Right. But what's nice about this is because we're dealing with spending, we have the ability to also now use this program to promote local spending. So we can increase reward based on where they spend, and now you're driving local traffic. So you've got now a double benefit of not only reducing taxes, but also increasing local spend, both which benefit the local, well, here in Texas it would be the county, as well as local business, and ultimately helping yourself.
Okay, this has not officially been rolled out yet. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, this is years in the making, and our platform finally goes live in about a month. And we're right now working in 10 different states to have this adopted in various cities and counties where specifically there is a heavier tax burden than other places. And obviously in Texas here, we don't have state income tax. Property taxes is relative to the rest of the country higher. And as home values are rising here, property tax, therefore, goes up as well.
Yeah, and I think property tax is probably one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people have is about the property tax. They don't gripe as much about anything else than property tax. So if you can find a way to alleviate that and help ease the burden of paying it, lack of a better term, I love it. What's the feedback been from these governmental, these counties and these states?
Very good overall. I mean, they're excited. This is not.
They're open to it.
Very open to it, and there's really not any. There's no downside. We don't charge them for the program. They don't have any cost in adopting it, in promoting it. They're just benefit to them, benefit to the homeowners, benefit to local business. But obviously, there are steps when dealing with government and being able to get things approved and adopted.
What was the biggest challenge of getting this thing off the ground? I mean, is it kind of getting in front of people and pitching it, or was it the bureaucratic system of getting into anything with government?
every aspect of this has been challenging because it's never been done before. You're dealing with different industries and different bodies that have never dealt with before. You talk to banks and mention government. They're afraid to engage on it. When raising money with investors, the same idea. They hear government, they're worried about it. But at the end of the day, it has gone very well. People, whether it be homeowners, whether it be government, ultimately our partners on the banking side are always very excited by it. But it's a process, takes time, but we're practically there.
So this wouldn't necessarily, this would just contribute to the property tax, not in, maybe in some cases it might completely cover the property tax, but at least at the end of the year, whatever the card has contributed, I'm sure there might be a balance, right? I mean,
yeah. The person will have a significant savings. Yeah. The likelihood of completely eliminating the tax liability,
I don't know. I'm thinking in my head, if my taxes on the last house, I think was $7,500 a year. So could I essentially save that much using this municipal card?
Right. Well, it depends how much you're spending. What's interesting is people who have higher property taxes typically can afford more, therefore are spending more. And then you have a correlation because it's a percentage of what you're spending essentially is going back to your taxes. So as you spend more, that's more money being contributed to your property tax. But if your property tax is more, then it's the same percentage as someone who spends less.
Yeah, so it's about the same percentage savings for a person who is in the upper income bracket than in lower.
And our modeling shows that about an average, a person will save about 25% of their taxes with this program.
That's still pretty good.
Could you use that municipal card to make car payments and some of your bigger, larger payments per month?
Specifically car payments, I don't think they let you use credit cards. Okay. But when it comes to all your other expenses, this is just a regular, using the networks, like whether it be Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover. So anywhere that accepts credit cards, you can use it. So you can use it for utilities, you can use it for your groceries, you can use it for
Is this something that...
Book a vacation? Use it.
Yep.
Is this something that you could link to your business property taxes?
Yeah. Any... whether it be home or business or any property period, you can tie it to and have it paid down.
Awesome.
We're talking to Eli Weingarden. He's a CEO of Municipal Cards. Very cool. I'm still, thinking of ways that you could use this card in everyday purchases to help pay down your property tax. And outside of making car payments and mortgage payments, everything else you use your card for would qualify, I would imagine. What do consumers think of this? People that you've kind of, guys like Michael and I, that you talk, what's the response been?
Yeah, so we did some comprehensive surveys to homeowners representing the entire country, and we found 63% of homeowners are excited by the program and are interested. We actually asked for feedback just to write to us, and just overwhelmingly positive. I have over 700 people that wrote to me of why this is so meaningful to them. And it's all over the place. You have the older demographic that they're on a fixed income. They have no way of increasing that. The only way to have more discretionary income is by reducing expenses. This is a way to do that. You've got people who have written to us and said, I've got these miles I never use. I've got these points that are worthless. This is the largest bill of the year for us to be able to reduce that. And that comes during the holiday season a lot of times, where they got all these expenses. So a humongous bill that you got to pay at one time, very meaningful to be able to reduce it through everyday spending. Yeah,
I could definitely see that because the bill comes in November, December, and you go, ugh. Merry Christmas. Give me your money. So you're you said about 6 weeks away?
Yeah, our platform was live in about a month, and we'll see which municipalities that we're talking to right now are the first ones to adopt. Obviously, we've in recent reached out to local governments, the counties here in Texas, and we're going through that process right now with them.
But your website and your Twitter page are live right now.
We have a website up that just gives basic information. One can go and give us their zip code and their email address, and we'll tell them when the program is live in their area.
That's what I suggest everyone do. That's listing. Go there and put your zip code in and sign up, right, and get some alerts.
Yeah, we'll let them know when the program goes live.
And it's taxsavingscard.com, is that right?
You found it. Excellent.
Okay, cool.
Another website, Michael, that is so self-explanatory.
Right.
Taxsavingscard.com.
Yeah, make sure you put that S in there in savings. Taxsavingscard.com. Yeah, and I've got it linked on our Twitter page right now, too.
Great. And it doesn't hurt, if you want to call the county commissioner's office and tell them, hey, we heard about this program, we're excited by it, they want to hear that.
Unfortunately, my county commissioner knows who I am, so I can do that.
Excellent.
Yeah. I plan on putting a call into Collin County. Say, yo,
Yeah.
get the tax savings card. Get it implemented today.
That'd be cool.
I think it's a great idea. I really do. And
After we come back from the break, I want to hear him highlight some of the differences between this kind of rewards card and some of the other rewards programs that are out there right now.
Good question. All right, we'll take a break. We come back as well. Facebook just signed a big deal with some media firms to talk about going live. And I think this is the wave of broadcasting future as well. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. 728, stick around. All right, we are Bad to the Bone, and we are now broadcasting live, if I can get this stupid camera off my face, live on Facebook, talking about this new debit card. It's really amazing that you can actually shop till you drop into your property tax drop. I like that. Eli Weingarden is with me. He is the CEO of Municipal Cards, LLC, and it's a very unique way to pay down your property tax using a debit card type product. Okay, in the break, we were talking a little bit about the card itself, because this is very important, and you brought up an excellent point. You wanted to create a product, a card, that someone would not be ashamed of pulling out. It doesn't look like some kind of governmental assistance card or anything that's like that. It's very slick, and it's got a great look.
Yeah, exactly. In the industry, there's something called a date test, which is if somebody was on a date, would they be proud to pull out this card, or would they be embarrassed? And we tried to achieve that, because you have a product that technically a feature of the card is that it is paying down your property taxes, which could indicate that maybe you can't afford your taxes, not something that you want to be advertising to the guy in the line behind you. So we've created essentially a lifestyle product that is very cool, very sleek. It represents homeowners, anybody who owns property, and we're actually calling it the estate card. So the estate card is a card for people who own property, own a home, and a feature of which is to reduce this major liability.
Okay, so if you missed the beginning of our conversation, we'll recap real quickly. Let's say you go to the grocery store, you got your groceries, you go to check out. You pull out this card, and let's talk about how it works.
Yeah, you go ahead and use it. Hopefully it's local, and you're earning more than a bonus reward, but a percentage of that sale will then go to pay down your property taxes seamlessly.
It's just that simple. So, I found myself this past week kind of reevaluating my banking situation and seeing how much I use the card on what items, and compared it to a credit union that I have another loan at and what their reward points offers. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm using this card all the time, and I'm not getting anything back. To think that, and like you said earlier, a lot of people don't use the reward points for whatever reason, but if I can be rewarded by paying down my property tax by using this card, I hate the word win-win, but that's a win-win.
Yeah, and this is actually a win-win-win in the sense
we're going to go win-win-win now.
It's win-win-win. I'm upping you one. Yeah.
You are upping me up one.
Yeah, because the city's benefiting, right? We're getting them this money that could otherwise, you have someone that maybe wouldn't be able to pay on time. They're getting this money on time. Mm-hmm. They're able to drive traffic locally, which is then the win to the local business.
Right, and a win to the municipality because they get the tax from the local business.
Right, and the win to the homeowner as they're reducing the liability. So it's a win-win-win.
It's a win-win-win.
And there's no charge to the person carrying the card, whereas with the other loyalty programs, if you've got a credit card, you're being charged every month for having that credit card. If you got a health savings card, you're being charged every month for having that card. It's a upkeep fee.
Well, let me ask you real quickly, Eli. How do you guys make money on this? How are you? And you're smiling right now because I know there's an angle somewhere.
Okay, you got me. It's a win-win-win-win.
Nice.
It's actually interesting that in this industry, there's very little money to be made on a card holder. In fact, we make pennies. So this is something that we need to roll out nationally, so we have millions of users to be able to actually make money on it.
10-4. Gotcha. And you're in the process of doing that. You're about 6 weeks away from rolling out and having your first. What state will be the first one to the game on this? Do you know? Or
I can't say for certain.
Okay.
But we're right now in 10 different states working that process. It might be Minnesota, it might be New Jersey.
Yeah. Nice.
Hey, it's possible for Texas. We'll see how fast Texas moves.
We have high property taxes here.
We do.
I mean, comparable to a lot of states, we're up there. I mean, California, in certain regards, has lower property taxes than we do.
Well, yeah, but in all fairness, no state income tax helps offset that, but people forget that.
Sure.
And again, I think because property values are going up here in Texas, this is becoming an issue for today. I know it was in the paper the other day. I think the state has now created a special task force to explore ideas of how to help reduce property taxes. Well, they need to know that we're coming to market.
You could probably spin this off in so many different categories, I would imagine, because you're a very creative guy. And I could say, hey, if this works and you can pay down your property tax, what else can we create to help you pay down?
It's an excellent point. We actually have intellectual property that's been issued. So we have patents that protect the space where we take reward generated from credit or debit card transactions and apply it to a pre-existing liability. We own that. So, yeah, for example, for renters, let's say that they're in a situation where they're not paying property tax because they don't own where they're living. Well, we could then take that money and apply it towards their utility bill. So now when they shop, they're paying down their electric.
I like that too. We've got a story coming up about renters, and their percentage of income is the highest. The percentage from their income is the highest going to rent than it's ever been. Like half their salary is going straight to rent. We'll talk about that in a few minutes, but that might be one way to help pay down your rent. You're onto something here. How can someone get a hold of you and get more information on this tax savings card?
The website you mentioned earlier, taxsavingscard.com, is a great place to be able to send us a note, tell us what you think of the program, give us your information to be able to learn about when it goes live in your particular city or Texas or your county. That's probably the best place to get a hold of us. And
I don't, Michael, I'm really trying to think of any reason why someone should not do this. I'm being devil's advocate over here. I don't know.
Maybe if you're already receiving some other benefit that's somehow greater than this by using a different card.
Yeah, but there's no other card on the market that's going to pay down your property tax.
That's very true.
Right? I mean, it's going to get you reward points for an airline, which we're constantly seeing in the news that they're changing the game on that.
Right.
So you have no competition at all.
There's no such product that's ever existed like this. So, yeah, this is the first of its kind.
We need to take you to Shark Tank. I bet you Mark Cuban would be all over this.
I don't know. He tends to jump in on the things that don't require nationwide rollout, I think.
It's scalable, though. If it works in one state.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The first state to the game on this thing that's going to be your lead. That's your champion state right there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start to get with consumers and business owners and county officials, and they start to give you feedback on how it's working, and people love it, and it's paying down, and it's shop local. Then you take that campaign, and then you go and you get the next state.
Well, yeah. I think Eli, though, is further down the road than where Mark Cuban would jump in and start helping him.
Sure.
Am I right?
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, it's been 6 years of work on this. So, at this point, we're in that final stretch.
What's your day job?
This is my day job.
That's your day job. Boy,
day and night job.
Oh, my goodness. So you got 6 years of hard work.
Yep.
And dedication.
And hopefully this is something that makes an impact across the entire country. That's kind of the idea.
And I bet you can't wait to go back, and it was your uncle that had go back to him and roll it out in his hometown and his home state.
I'm actually sitting down with him tomorrow in Michigan to see how fast we can get this adopted in his city finally. He's still treasurer there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That is cool. I love it. All right, taxsavingscard.com. It's just that simple. Go to it, check it out. We appreciate you want to stick around on the show.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we've got Bekan Swan Haran coming in. We're going to talk about the mortgage industry and some pitfalls that you can avoid getting yourself into when it comes to getting a mortgage. But real quickly, Facebook just signed a deal with some media firms and some celebrities to go on their Facebook Live, which I was just on. And when this Facebook Live first came out, Michael, I was like, let me tell you something. This is the future of broadcasting, because think how many hundreds of millions of people that are on Facebook, not just an hour a day. Let's say probably the latest stat I saw on Facebook, and people spend about 3 to 5 hours a day on Facebook. And I bet
if you've programmed your phone to give you a notification every time something happens, then yes, you're going to spend lots of time.
But you'd be surprised. That is correct. But you'd be surprised how many people, quite honestly, just go on all the time. Like, it's just, if they're at a stoplight, stoplights have become the time that, not only do you stop your car, but then it's time to check your phone.
I hate to say that's absurd, Brian. Nobody would do that, but you're right.
I mean, you look around.
Yeah.
Next time at a stoplight, look around and see what people are doing.
I believe you.
They're looking at their phones.
Yes.
So anyway, this whole Facebook Live thing, I love it. It's a deal that's worth more than $50 million with media companies and celebrities to create videos for its live streaming service, according to the Wall Street Journal. It's got about 140 deals, including CNN, New York Times, Vox Media, Tastemade, Mashable, and Huffington Post as well. Comedian Kevin Hart, celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay are one of the ones that have signed on and said, hey, we're going to give you original content. This is the future of broadcasting. It's accessible. It's Facebook. It's 24 hours, 365. You can't get away from it. And of course, they'll find a way to monetize all of this and have pre-roll videos on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Banner, lower thirds. I mean, they're going to get really creative with this. But that's why I like the Facebook Live, because if a lot of people can't listen to us for some reason, but they get the notification that we're gone live, they'll watch the video and at least see the headlines. So
one would hope.
One would hope.
Yeah, I think the celebrities are stealing all of our thunder, though. People are going to go watch the celebrities and then not have time for us. That's the way it always goes.
Well, you
can't avoid the celebrities.
Well, it all depends on what. I remember the first time I ever went Facebook Live, it was when Lady Antebellum's tour bus caught on fire, and I was one of the first people at the scene. I didn't have a way to go live on television, but I did have Facebook Live, and I logged on and slugged it. Lady Antebellum's bus catches fire. I'm sorry, that was on Periscope.
Yeah, that was Periscope.
It's the same thing, though. It's the same. I mean, essentially the same thing. And people, they watch it. It's all about the slug. So a guy like Kevin Hart, or one of these celebrities, puts up a headline, then they're live somewhere doing something, people go to it. 7:44. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up some other headlines, and we'll make room for Bekan Swan Haran. Stick around. All right, so how much money do you put aside each month for your property taxes? Good question. Our guest, Eli Weingarden, is the CEO of Municipal Cards, and we're talking about paying down your property tax using this type of debit card system. You said in the break, and you bring up an excellent point, this is lowering mortgages as well.
Yeah, half the country right now is escrowing their property taxes with their mortgage. So obviously what happens when you reduce your tax liability, how does it affect your mortgage payment? Well, it does just that. It affects it in the sense that a person spends during the year, and now their escrowed amount gets adjusted for the next year. And what does that do? It lowers your monthly mortgage payment.
Yeah. Brilliant. I love it. Here's a study, and you can weigh in on this. More Americans are struggling to even make rent. A total of 21.3 million Americans are spending 30% or more of their paycheck just to cover rent. Now, that's a record high. If you look at, when you go apply for a mortgage, obviously they look to your debt-to-income ratio and what percentage of your income goes towards your mortgage or your rent. This is far exceeding that percentage at 30% of their paycheck going towards rent. I wonder, is there something there that you can develop to help people perhaps pay down their rent? Is that in the future? Would that work? Don't know, right?
I guess anything's possible. That's we live in the good U.S. of A. And innovation is always there.
I think you're such a you're like the Christopher Columbus of this whole industry. You've paved the way, and I'm just thinking of other ways that you could branch off. And I saw this stat, and I was blown away that we are simply not saving as a country, and that's proven. Gen Xers as well, because we're the scary ones, because we're kind of going into that. We're nearing that retirement window, at least planning to retire, and we're just simply not saving. Millennials are starting. Some research have said millennials actually save more than Gen Xers.
Yeah, there's one thing that can be done is, even for the property tax card, just tax savings card as it is, if a renter were to get the card and tell their landlord, "Hey, I'm going to go ahead and earn money towards the property taxes. Can I get a credit for what is being applied?" I don't see why landlords would tell them no. So this product could help even renters. Yeah.
The middle-class renters in expensive cities are struggling the most. In the 10 most expensive cities to live in, nearly 75% of renters earning $30,000 to $44,000, and 50% of those making $45,000 to $75,000 are living in these hot markets that are considered cost burdens. They just simply they're spending more, up to 33% of their income on rent, and that's not allowing them to save for a down payment so they can buy a house. It's like they're just paying so much in rent. They can't afford to save. If not, forget about saving for retirement. They can't even save to put on a down payment on a house. So we're in this situation. It's a scary time that we're in. That housing is going up, property taxes going up as well. People aren't saving. More people are renting, spending more of the percentage of income in rent. What do you do?
It's interesting. I saw another report recently that coincides exactly what you're saying right now, that consumers, I guess, are acknowledging this. And if they're left with discretionary income, let's say they get a tax refund or something, instead of going out and buying a new big screen TV, they're actually being responsible and applying that towards living expenses, paying down debt, applying it to their mortgage, applying it to the property taxes. So I think this is just kind of a shift in today's economy of how people are behaving when it comes to their living expenses.
Yeah. We had a list out the other day of the most expensive cities office space to have an office in, and Hong Kong was number one, and London was up there as well. They kind of go back and forth, actually. But here's some of the top 10 most expensive cities to live in. Number one is Hong Kong. No surprise there. When you look at the amount of it takes just to live in these cities, you're talking about an average 2-bedroom apartment in Hong Kong going for around, I still don't believe this is right, but around $3,700 a month for a 2-bedroom. New York, London, respectively come in with 2-bedroom. I'm sorry, let me back up. $5,100 a month for Hong Kong, and $4,500 a month for London. So they're right there. I don't see how people do it in certain markets. Not only because the dollar is very weak over there as well, but
you got to make $100,000 just to pay your rent.
Just to pay rent, to be the percentage. You probably have to make. If you were to break it down, what a financial guy would say, you need to make about $400,000 a year, so that 25% of your income goes to rent. So that's a lot of money. But how much does coffee cost? That's the biggest question, Eli, is how much would you pay for a cup of coffee? Well, you'll pay almost $8 in Hong Kong for a cup of coffee, Michael. I know you'd be lined up for that cup of coffee, too.
No.
And you might pay comparable to $2.28 in New York City for a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Now, a 1 liter of unleaded gasoline will cost in the range of $1 in most cities, but you'll pay in Hong Kong $1.79 per liter versus 48 cents in Moscow. So the cheapest is in Moscow.
Wow.
And the most expensive is in Hong Kong.
I remember my dad being upset when 7-Eleven raised the price of a small cup of coffee from 59 cents to 69 cents, Brian.
Yeah. Now, if you ever hung around McDonald's in the early morning, you see these senior citizens come in there and getting their little 50-cent cup of coffee.
Oh, yeah, except for me, that's late at night.
Yeah. Oh, do you try that? Oh, no, you don't try it yourself, though.
No.
Okay.
For me, that's late at night.
Yeah,
I'm there at 5 a.m. at McDonald's, and these senior citizens are just waking up.
Yeah.
I'm still awake.
Yeah, you're still awake.
Mind
Man,
you.
you're just a night owl.
I am a night owl. You're not.
It's gonna age you, dude. I'm telling you. You got to get to bed.
You're the weirdo going to bed before the sun sets.
Oh, I love it.
You're crazy.
I cut the shade down because I get up early. I want to sleep.
And I don't.
Look,
I
I'm
don't want to.
mentally drained at the end of the day because my brain doesn't turn off. I'm always working.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but good stuff there. Thank you so much. TaxSavingsCard.com. Go to it for more information and keep up to date of when this thing might roll out in your state, your county. I think it's brilliant. I think there's so many things you can do with it too. Anyway, coming up after the break at 8 o'clock hour, our friends from BK and Swan Horan is on the show. Talk about, I believe we're going to talk about the mortgage industry, which just ties in perfectly with.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good. And once again, if you want to keep up with the show and keep up with all the fine shows on this station, go to 620amkexb.com. And more information on that. You can also reach out to us on Facebook. I got a couple new likes on Facebook just now. I got notifications that people are following us. So thank you very much. 620 AM KEXB, your experts in business. Give us a few minutes. We'll come right back. And finally, we figured out how to play sound. Thanks to Michael Clark.
Yeah, you've got a soundbite queued up there.
Yeah.
And we'll update you on the next hour about Coco the kitty.
Coco the kitty, yes, is doing fine. I want to give a shout out to a couple vets in our area that helped out Coco the kitty because it's hot outside. So, folks, if you need to drink water, your pets need to drink water too. Just got to say. So make sure that your pets have plenty of water to drink. It's 7:57. Give us a few minutes. We'll come right back. You're listening to 620 AM KEXB. Your experts in business. See you in a few.